For any transformation journey, customer is very much important. Technology is one of the enablers for successful transformation. If you don't have the clear vision and objective, we don't know what is to be measured, right? Data analytics plays a major role in any transformation journey. So if I am a leader, okay, I want all my employees to grow in the organization. If I don't take care of my employees, then you will not be successful in transformation. So if we take care of employees will take care of the organization.
Welcome everybody to today's session on the innovation community of Thinkly. And my name is David. And we have with us for our today's session a great leader and an expert in banking. So our topic specifically here is we are looking at how do we lead strategic transformations in the banking sector through various innovations. And banking itself and the financial sector itself is on a growth path as it has been for so many years, and it will continue to be a driver of a lot of transformation changes, employment, impact on people's lives, and we all interact with the banking sector for long. And we have with us Abilash Mohandas with me, a great leader and an expert in banking. He is an entrepreneur and also a banking expert, led multiple transformations in the banking sector for a lot of multinationals across not only India. He's been associated with banks in India, but in Middle East, Oman, and also Southeast Asia. He's been very active and been working with these banks and leading a lot of these changes. So thank you so much, Abilash, for joining us today on the innovation community of Thinkly. And again, thanks to Thinkly for hosting us. And so as usual, what we'll have is we will have certain elements of Abhilash sharing his thoughts, expertise, and guidance to us. And then we will open the session to our audience, the innovation community team members and others, to really, look at various aspects of transformation. And how do you build innovation within the banking space primarily? How do you look at that? What are the various levers, and how do you really transform and overcome challenges in a way? So again, thank you so much, Abhilash. And let's begin. I think the one of the pertinent questions, Abhilash, we usually have, and that's always been there when I speak to leaders in not only banking sector but a lot of other areas in business, is what how do leaders, and now very specifically in the banking sector here or financial services here, how do leaders really ensure that the transformation that they are driving is successful and meaningful and impactful? What is your advice to the leaders? How can they really address this very pertinent issue? Because there are a lot of initiatives taken, and not at all transformation journeys are successful. Many fail, but unfortunately, nobody publishes anything anywhere about failures. And what we know is all successes everywhere. So, as a practitioner, what is that advice that you would want to give to our various experts?
Thank you, David. First of all, I would like to thank Thinkly and David for having me on the session. Your question is very, very good. You are asking about my advice for the financial leaders to ensure successful transformation. Is it right, David? This is a question you asked.
Yes,
right?
yes, Abhilash, yes.
Okay, so for the financial leaders, see, I am not so much expertise in this, but I will give my experience. Okay, so whatever we are going to talk is based on my experience. Okay, there are a lot of expert leaders who are actually going through this transformation journey. So from my experience, I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to give some thoughts to the financial leaders to ensure the successful transformation journey that you asked. See, today in rapidly evolving financial landscape, successful banking transformation is not just adopting a new technologies, but fundamentally we have to rethink how we operate and serve our customers. For any transformation journey, customer is very much important. And according to me, the key components for a successful transformation journey is we need to have our clear vision. We have to define a clear vision and objective. Why do I need to do a transformation? Okay. establishing a clear vision that aligns with both operational goals and what the customer expectations are. Customers' needs are changing every day, as you're aware. Okay, customer expectations are changing. So unless until we align our strategy, like defining our vision and objective and aligning with operation goals and customer expectations, then our transformation journey will not be successful. Because at the end, whom we are going to serve? Customer. The second and foremost is like we have to embrace a customer-centric approaches. We have to develop a strategies, a transformation strategy that prioritize customer interactions and experience across all channels. See, what happens is we try to, like, for example, let's say we try to change something on the branch level, but we have to provide the same kind of experience across all channels, mobile banking, internet banking. So WhatsApp banking now, so WhatsApp banking is also famous. So across all channels, we have to develop this strategy. So ensuring that we provide and we prioritize the customer interactions and experience. That is very, very important. Next is we have to, let's say, the technologies keep on changing. So we have to leverage the cutting edge technologies. However, my experience is, okay, we have to select and integrate those technologies that align with your strategic goals, ensuring they are scalable and secure. It's not that like I come up with a new technology and then we implement, but at the end, there's no use for it. So what is my strategy? I need to integrate those technology that align with your strategic goals. Unless until you do that, okay, nothing will happen. Okay, it's very, very important. From my experience, okay, the fourth is very, very important. We have to foster a culture of innovation and agility. See, transformation is a journey. So it can be for 5 years, 5 years transformation or 10 years transformation. But agility is very, very important and culture of innovation. So what we have to do is when we start our transformation journey, we have to involve all level of employees across the organization. So from my experience from one of the organizations which where I worked, we came up with a concept called We Innovate. So we created something called an innovation lab, okay, and wherein all the employees can contribute an idea. And we made sure that the ideas are presented. Okay, so we had a committee, okay, and we make sure that every employee comes and present their ideas, okay, and when the ideas are presented, okay, ideas may be good, ideas may be bad, okay, we are not going to criticize any employees. Everybody should participate in the transformation journey. We have to make sure that the sense of ownership is attained from across all the employees. So we make sure that employees contribute to the ideas. Then we evaluate both those ideas for feasibility. Okay. And then the feasibility becomes an action. Then actions gets deployed. This actually turned out to be a huge success because there's a sense of ownership. I contribute this idea and I want this implementation to happen. So according to me, like a transformation is an ongoing journey that requires a bold vision, customer focus, and the right mix of technology and culture. So by addressing these elements, the financial leaders can craft strategies that not only meet today's challenges, but also anticipate tomorrow's opportunities. That is very, very important. So I it's not me like I say advices. Okay. I'm just embracing this today. Okay. I encourage myself, okay, to continuously seek innovation and adaptability in the transformation efforts to stay competitive in the digital age. So this is the learning process. So today you see machine learning, AI, tomorrow what is going to come, we don't know. So we have to make sure that this is a journey and we keep on changing as per the customer expectations.
Right, Abhilash. I think one of the important aspects that you mentioned, which caught my ear, is that technology isn't the only solution. Many
Right.
times, a lot of organizations even look at just the technology, embracing technology. You look at
Correct.
chatbot or blockchain or
Correct.
AI, and in
Yes.
another 5 years, you will have something else coming up. It's always been that.
Absolutely.
It's not that AI has just come and therefore technology was always there, and it was always
Correct.
impacting our business processes and systems and revolutionizing it.
Totally agree.
Uh, so it's not just the technology part of it, but how do you amalgamate technology within
Yes.
our journey of transformation? How
Agree.
does that really accelerate, and is it just relevant for the audience at hand? Otherwise, it becomes another big issue because then people keep on asking, leaders keep on asking on what is an ROI of investing in technology. So then
Correct.
you take technology, you invest in technology. There is no ROI that you see.
And customers will
So
not use utilizing those technology also.
yeah, absolutely. The
Right.
customers don't utilize, so
Correct.
nobody is getting benefited. The
Yes.
only benefit is it seems to be like a hobby for people to adopt technologies as they
Agree.
emerge and
Agree.
be, at least address the fear that you aren't left behind by the
Agree.
technological changes.
Agree.
But
Agree.
I think it's also got to do with the organization's maturity, the kind of processes, systems that they have, the structures that
Agree.
are
Yes.
there. Any
Yes.
other aspect that comes to your mind, Abhilash, as we speak about technology?
See, like for example, let's say we all have one saying that if we say transformation, it's all technology. Okay, so that myth has to change. Technology is an enabler for transformation to be successful, but technology is not a transformation. So it cut across, like for example, transformation cut across people, process, and technology. So technology is one of the enabler for successful transformation. And we have to, so I'm not saying that we cannot go away with the technology. Technology is a part of transformation, it's the art of transformation. And whenever we do some changes, technology will be a part of that. So, but we cannot blame technology for our unsuccessful transformation. So we have
Hmm.
to
Right.
go with our technology to make sure that our transformation becomes successful. And because they are enablers for us.
Right. I think in one of the articles published by MIT, recent one that I was reading, they looked at what is the business value and ROI of AI and of
Mm,
adopters who did that. And the surprising finding was the capital investment, at least initially, is very heavy. And then, since you have to create very customized kind of models for your own business lines, because not that
mm,
everything is available off the shelf,
mm,
the returns are in a way very less compared to what you would expect. It's around 10 to 15% of
mm,
what you would really invest. So it does not make really business sense, at least now, for people to invest. Though, of course, people are investing and looking at potential of a particular technology, but they
mm.
are still struggling with use cases on
Yeah,
how to use AI for that matter and how to really
right.
work with that. Yeah, I think this is a very important aspect that you spoke about, Abhilash.
Yeah.
Also, I am sure, in your career, working with a lot of banks across different regions in a
Mhm.
way, you would have seen a lot of these resistances that comes to transformation, which of course is very natural because there is always an inertia to change in a
Correct.
way. But the whole piece is on one side, there is a natural resistance to not undergo a change. And then there is another pressure saying that if you do not change, you don't become relevant to the future. So you see,
Correct.
both are true in his own
Right.
sense. And
Yeah,
there's a lot
correct.
of these resistances that emerge within organizations. So you as a leader, as a transformation leader, talking to CEOs, CXOs, and you yourself being the CXO of various banks and in transformation, leading it. How have you really charted these waters, with this dangerous kind of pieces, like a captain trying to maneuver your ship across these various
Yes.
rocks and challenges? What's your experience been and what really works and what does not really work in your?
Sure. See, as you correctly said, resistant to change is a natural human reaction. Okay. Especially when it comes to innovation that disrupts the existing processes. Now, if we say that, okay, David, please get up. Okay. You will say, why should I get up? The video is on. And why should I get up? So we resist, okay, initially. Okay. But if we give the why we need to change. Okay, what is the necessity for change? That is very important. That's why in your previous question I mentioned that fostering a culture of involvement and innovation is very, very important. Engagement, employee engagement. So according to me, okay, the strategies that I adopted to overcome resistance is whenever we did this transformation initiatives or any process changes or technical technological uh, investment that we are going through, we engage stakeholders. I did something from I read somewhere. Okay, when Ford deployed or implemented BPR, business process reengineering, okay, they engage employees from various departments early in the process. This is that what when I was small, like I read this, and this involvement help in gathering insights and fostering a sense of ownership and reducing resistance. So when we engage stakeholders, okay, early at the transformation level, okay, there's a buy-in. So we are creating a buy-in and making sure that we are together doing this transformation. That is very, very important. Next is we do transformation, but if you don't communicate clearly and consistently, communication with very focus what we are doing, how we are going to do, what is our next step. And this communication should be consistent, not 6 months once we say that we have developed this. No, no, we have to make sure that we are communicating clearly and we have to be doing consistently every week. See, clear communication about the reasons for the change, expected benefits, and the impact on employees is very much important. See, why should I support your change? Employees should know that. What is the benefit that employee is going to get? And what happened is we used multiple channels. We create a newsletter, weekly newsletter. Okay. And it's not about what we do. Okay. It's about what employees feel about the change. So we interviewed people. Okay. We told them that we put them as a newsletter format and then we publicize. So we used multiple channels. We also had that the dashboards, okay, stick across the walls, okay, showing that this is how. So what happens is when employees see the photos or pictures, okay, then they say, oh, yeah, I'm there, I'm part of this change. When one person is actually there for the part of change, other employees will be participating. Why not me supporting this transformation change? And the third thing is providing training and support. Most of them doesn't know what is transformation, why we are doing this. So we have to equip employees with the necessary skills and knowledges to adapt to new processes. And we have to continuously support them to actually elevate the fears and build confidence. The fear factor is one thing that is actually resist to change. The fear factor. But what happens is, okay, when I said like, David, please get up. The fear factor, what happens? The video get disrupted. So that fear factor has to be like, we need to get rid of this fear factor and build the confidence. Most important is we have to demonstrate quick. See, when we do any transformation, we should not wait for 5 years to say that we have done this and that. Demonstrating quick wins is very, very important. Okay. As you said that we invest in so many technologies, investment is huge. Okay. But investment, the stakeholders will be saying, we are investing. What is the use of it? So we have to demonstrate quick wins, showcasing earlier success, building a momentum and demonstrate tangible benefits for change. The final thing is, I repeat the same thing is fostering a culture of innovation. Very important. Encourage a mindset that embraces change and innovation. So, uh, according to me, overcoming resistance during this innovation-driven strategic requires a strategic approach that involves engaging a stakeholder at the beginning, communicating very clearly and consistently, training and fostering a culture of innovation. So this actually helped us. Like when I involved, as you know, David, when we did this transformation initiative in one of the places, we involved all the employees. That's very important, right? So they created the sense of ownership, okay, and there is a ownership from the top level also, sponsorship ownership also. We created a competition. Who is going to bring more benefit to the organization? So that is very, very important.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And very interesting, this culture. I think you are bringing up this topic. Very, again, very interesting is this culture and mindset of innovation. I think one of the aspects that drive this cultural aspect is also leadership, the
Right.
kind of leadership, the transparency of leadership, the
Agree.
direction. You mentioned about all of these aspects that you mentioned is not only at an organizational level, but also at an individual level, the leaders driving it
Agree. Totally agree.
on
Totally
various
agree.
functions. So the way that they communicate, the transparency, the end output, the even the ability to take responsibility of failures. I have seen
Agree.
many people in organizations.
That point is very clear. That point is very important. Ability
Huh,
to take responsibility for the failure. It's not
huh,
only, see, what happens is everybody has this fear also. Okay. Only when the transformation is successful, okay, we have to celebrate. No, when the transformation fail, also we have to celebrate. Because we are learning lessons. Lessons learned are very important, okay, so that we don't repeat that mistakes. Okay. So we need to celebrate every moment. Maybe this time we didn't do that. Okay, next time we'll do it. So that fear factor has to go away from every employees who are contributing to the success of transformation. So that's very important. This is very good point that you brought in.
yeah, yeah, I think, and also the aspect of fear you mentioned about fear. The fear is
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Is
Yes.
if you one is if I do not instill fear, people don't want to change because they are in the comfort zone. And on the
Right.
other side, the fear acts as a resistance mechanism for me because they don't want to
Right.
change because of the fear. And
Right.
this ability to showcase not only by the communication but through actions that many things, and especially now that we are faced, and it was also earlier also, but now very relevant, that when we talk about ML and AI and a lot of automations and robotics, people are afraid about their jobs.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and the resistance comes from a very, very basic need of every human being is to be able
Right.
to earn a proper living. And
Right.
if that comes under threat in any which ways, like every human being does, it's not only a threat on the living being, it's a threat on their own existence in a way.
Agree.
That's the human thinking, and therefore the resistance becomes so very heavy. So I think many organizations also take it upon themselves to very explicitly state that as long as you are willing to reskill,
Mm.
as long as you are willing to learn, as long as you're willing to contribute, you need not worry. Means we have got enough positions and we have got enough
Agree.
areas for us to improve. And how
Right.
do you
Right.
really move through? And I know, Bilash, the other piece I just wanted to bring on the table for the audience is, you have been experimenting with a lot of these various methods on running transformation. Your transformation has to also to be scientific. It just can't be that I would wish for something and I think about certain actions and we start roll out. So I know that you
Right.
have been implementing a lot of approaches on Lean, Six Sigma, design thinking,
Oh,
and
okay.
business excellence frameworks, and a lot of these other frameworks as a structured way to drive transformation in an organization. Because when we say cultural transformation, or it
Mhm.
has to stick in an organization. So unless it's with a scientific way or with a framework, it does not last for long. So what's your experience been, and how have you been able to implement these kind of methods for driving transformation? And do they really work? Are they effective? What is the best way and effective mechanism for us to run some transformations in specific banking sector in a way? Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
See, as you correctly said, okay, so these are the approaches or methodologies: design thinking, Lean Six Sigma. These are the methodologies, okay, and we actually implemented those methodologies in our transformation journey. Okay, when we talk about both methodologies, they offer unique approaches to problem solving and innovations, making them invaluable tools for the organization, aiming to enhance their efficiency, customer satisfaction, and overall competitiveness. Okay, so we can embrace those methodologies in a transformation journey because Lean Six Sigma is a data-driven decision making tool. Okay, so we need data. We have to ensure that what is my performance, current performance, baseline performance, in order to celebrate success for the transformation, right? So we need to start somewhere, okay, and then we have to measure those performance over the period of time to see whether our objectives are met. Okay, so what is my end result? Okay, whether I am able to have the ROI over my investment on the transformation journey. So this other things, this methodology has actually helped us in basically in the transformation journey, and it has been very successful. So, for example, let's say if a bank aiming to improve the customer service using a design thinking to redesign the account opening process, but by empathizing with the customers, the bank might discover pain points in the current processes, such as lengthy paperwork, unclear instructions. So, through ideation and prototyping, the bank can develop a streamlined, user friendly digital platform that enhance the customer experience and satisfaction. So, this is one of the thought process. Wherein like Lean Six Sigma, we combines your master in Lean Six Sigma. It combines the principles of lean and which is actually eliminating the waste, and Six Sigma, reducing the variation. Okay, and this is actually a data-driven tool and aims to optimize the existing process. Okay, making it ideal for enhancing the operational efficiency. So let's say, for example, when we did this loan approval process, which is slow and error prone, okay, Lean Six Sigma, when we applied, when we analyzed the processes, we identified the bottlenecks, implemented improvements by using techniques such as process mapping, root cause analysis, variation, understanding how, like, what are the deviations, okay, and we re-engineer these processes. And when we re-engineer the processes, the design thinking came into picture, the technology front came into picture. Okay, so and then we say that okay, so let's look into this all this option. Okay, at the end, who is getting benefited? Customer. Customer gets benefit out of this. So this is like, for example, it goes hand in hand in the transformation journey. And more important is showcasing the quick wins. Very, very important. So, which leads to the stakeholder satisfaction. So, we talk about end result customer satisfaction and also stakeholder satisfaction, internal customers and also external customers. So, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, of course, Abilash. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is our participants on the innovation community,
Okay.
they are posing a lot of questions for you, and let me pick up some of them, and I'm sure we'll be able to address all. Or let me see, I'll just pick them up, and we'll
Okay.
quickly address some of them. So very insightful questions they have. The one question from Sameer here is, how do you measure success in a transformation strategy?
Mm.
So how do you measure its success? So a lot of these transformation journeys are happening, and so how do you measure that our transformation journey or transformation strategy is successful? How do you know that? How do you determine it? How do you track it? And how do you validate that? Are there certain thoughts,
I think in your
practices?
first question, you asked about successful transformation journey, right? First question was like, how do we? So in that, I mentioned about having a clear vision and objective. When we talk about a clear vision objective, okay, we also would be looking at the metrics. Very, very important is that's why, see, when we talk about Lean Six Sigma, when we talk about design thinking, when we talk about transformation journey, okay, the metrics is very important. Okay, at the end, what are we going to measure? So, what is my current baseline performance? Okay, that has to be clearly articulated. Then we need to have looking into, okay, so today I am getting revenue of, let's say, 100 million US dollar. So, what is my revenue to be over the 5 years? Okay, and does this transformation support in this my vision statement. Okay. So having a clear metric defined, okay, and measuring those metrics over the period of time, okay, not at the end of transformation, over the period of time, and then make changes. So, for example, let's say, unless and you should not wait for the end result. We have to look at, maybe we are operating in a different model. Okay, we have to change our operating model. Okay, adaptability to the changes. Let's say, for example, after 3 months we measure the performance. Okay, but performance is not going up. So we need to look back and see what exactly is happening, change, come back, and implement it. So it should not be measured after everything is completed. It should be measured in a systematic way over the period of time. Okay, so we have to put the metrics in place and then measure accordingly.
Right, right. And I think the balanced scorecard approach, there are various approaches on
Correct.
identifying these metrics. Balanced scorecard approach also is a very excellent way of doing that. It looks
Right.
at, for our audience and participants, it also looks at some of the financial measures. It
Right.
looks at customer facing metrics which come in. It
Right.
looks at people metrics and customer facing metrics. So you say customer satisfaction, NPS scores,
Correct.
retention,
Yes.
repeat. Then you move on to the financial metrics in terms of, say, the banks itself, in terms of money flows, in terms of revenues, in terms of NPAs and a lot of other aspects. It looks at people, attrition, satisfaction level of people and other entities, and process performance.
Agree.
How are they really operating? So a
And
blend of
also
all of
as a
these
baseline
metrics.
performances. Balance scorecard should also have a baseline performances. So
Right.
unless until I know what is my baseline performance. So if I have a, let's say, for example, blood pressure, okay, I need to reduce my blood pressure. Unless until I know what is my baseline performances, and then accordingly I need to change my pattern in terms of reducing the blood pressure is very, very important. So accordingly, you should have the baseline performance and measure, like you mentioned, financial, customer, process. So balance scorecard approach or different approach. Okay. And then measure accordingly. Very important is metric to measure.
Hmm.
What we need to measure. So people have to understand. That's why if we don't have the clear vision and the objective, we don't know what is to be measured, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Abilash. Yeah. Another question from Sarah Malik here, and
Mhm.
her question is, what are the top skills you believe future leaders in banking need to develop? So, what are the top skills you believe future leaders in banking need to develop? What are those skills which are very important, gaining importance now as we step in, or could be very important in the next 5 years, 3 years, 5 years time? For leaders, what are those
Okay.
skills in banking?
See, for the leaders, top skills to be embraces, like for example, the change in the technology that is happening. Okay, and how do I integrate those technology into my day-to-day change in the customer behavior? So we need to understand the customer behavior. Okay, and in order for us to be competitive in the market. Okay, the top skills is like for example, I say financial acumen, okay, looking at what exactly to be done over the period of time, okay, and how do I grow my bank, okay, to the next level. That's very, very important. Second thing is that like a people oriented. If I miss out my people, okay, so it's not about only target. It's about going with the people, okay, understanding what the people want, okay, and helping them to grow in the organization. So if I am a leader, okay, I want my all my employees to grow in the organization, to be given more importance, because they will make what your vision is to be successful. Because if I have a vision, okay, and if I want my vision to be implemented, okay, if my objective be implemented, who will implement? My employees. And if I don't take care of my employees, then you will not be successful in transformation. So I'll actually hold hands to all my employees to make sure that they grow along with the organization. Okay, that's very important. They will make your transformation successful. Without employees, without people, nothing will happen. That is according to me. They are the eyes for the transformation. Okay, so this is very important for me, because if we take care of employees, employees will take care of the organization. So it's not about only looking at the financial targets. We have to look at our employees, the success factor. Okay, groom them to be their future leaders, to ensure that, to go with them. Third thing which I feel is like communication, very very important. See, some of the leaders, you mentioned something about, like, for example, we need to be future actually frequently communicating. Okay, communication is very important. Meet the people, communicate. Okay, what is the next strategy level? Okay, what we want to do it, and then communicating clearly and consistently is very important. And this is what I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Abhilash. I think we have another question here again, and from Aisha Patel. Her question is related to fintech startups, and so her question is, how can banks use innovation to stay ahead of fintech startups? A lot of banks are facing challenges from these fintechs and other tech-oriented kind of startups, and they are growing at a high rate, and
Yeah.
so it's a threat to the banking sector per se, in the traditional part. How what is your sense of how do really banks
See, most of the
use
banks
innovation
actually
to
have
stay
the
ahead?
fintech department embedded in the organization. So it's not about, fintech is not outside banking. So fintech is
Hmm.
part of the banking. Okay. And like, we have to be ahead of the competitors. Okay. And it is like, for example, what they are doing differently, and we have to come closely to the market. So whatever the transformation that we do, no, we also embrace those fintech technologies that they are going to come up with, and we are actually far ahead. Some of the banks are already having that, so that is very very important for us to do it.
Right, right, absolutely. Another question from Siddhi. Siddhi here, her question is relevant to our customer feedback. So her question is, we get a lot of this feedback comes in from the customers in the banking sector,
Mhm.
and in various organizations also. What role does it really play in driving innovation within the banks? So
Very
does the
important.
customer feedback drive innovation in some way, and how is that really being taken up? And any practices that you can see, best practices?
Very nice question. Okay, so we have to actually, let's say, for example, whenever we make changes to any processes or system, okay, we always take a voice of customer. Okay, so we have to understand what does the customer need. Okay, so we may implement something that your customer doesn't want it. Okay, so voice of customer is very very important. As I correctly mentioned, that we have to embrace the customer centric approaches. So whatever transformation that we are going to do, we have to prioritize customer interaction and experience across all channels. So whenever the customer is providing feedback, the feedback has to be taken very seriously, and that feedback get translated into our process changes, system changes, or, like, for example, they will also talk about people. So let's say, for example, let's say, when we go to the branches, okay, maybe the staff is not providing good customer service, a good customer experience. Okay, so this is the opportunity for us to actually train those employees to make sure that we give a consistent services across all channels. And the customer feedback is a key for any innovation that we do. Unless until we take the customer feedback and translate those things, I don't think no transformation will be successful.
Right. Yeah. I think so there are two questions. I'm just joining them up together because they're very similar in nature. One from Deepa, one from Shantanu.
Mhm.
And the questions they have is, how important and how are banks really leveraging things like data analytics, AI, machine learning to enhance their services and innovate. So, how do you see applications of data analytics, AI, machine learning being applied in the banking sector for driving transformation or innovation? Your thoughts, your ideas, your
Okay, so data
experiences.
analytics. Okay, so I go with what I mentioned previously, baseline performance. Okay, so if I want to have the good performance over the period of time, data analytics plays a major role. it gives me an insight about what my customer trends are, what my customer behavior pattern, okay, where I need to focus on my product and services, and that enable me to actually transform my services and also, let's say, translated that into my quick wins and quickable actions. So when I want to introduce a new product in the market, okay, this data analytics plays a major role. I cannot, let's say, for example, let's say if somebody is using a credit card, okay, I will know why the customers are using the credit card, okay, for what, okay, what is my customer behavior pattern, okay, what are the things that I need to enhance in my features for a customer credit card. Okay, so that is very, very important. Unless until I do that, I do the study and then tweak my product features, okay, I'll not be successful. So data analytics plays a major role. Okay, it captures all the information where and when you're spending the money. Okay, which place you are actually using the credit card. Okay, so that support me in actually introducing some offers for the customer so that utilization rate will increase. Okay, so when the utilization rate will increase, then we also look at the loyalty points for the customers. So we come up with the innovative things for the customers to get benefit. Okay, unless until I have this data ready, okay, I cannot do anything. So data analytics plays a major role in any transformation journey in the banking sector.
Right, absolutely. Final question for today's session, and there are many which are there, but then we will
Wow.
take it offline. Maybe I'll share with you and we can respond on the innovation community. Final question here from Siddharth that I'm picking up is what are the future trends in banking innovation that you are most excited about and why? Any future trends that you are excited about, makes you really excited about certain innovation that is happening in banking sector that you are very excited about and you feel very motivated, looking forward to that really happening or driving that in the banking sector.
See, now we are going like, for example, let's say there are like branches who support the customer walk-in customers. Okay. Now there are a lot of applications that customers use. Okay. Now if I talk about India in particular, okay, I'm seeing that nobody is carrying cash. Most of the 5 years before, okay, they used to have cash in hand. They go to the market, spend. Okay, this transformation is like welcoming. It's in India, different countries. Okay, that is actually they are not. They don't want to come to branch. They use debit card, credit card. Okay, whatever for payment, Paytm. A lot of things are come in place. So I'm looking at what is the new thing that makes, like for example, customers' life very simple and easy for them to transact. Okay, so we are coming up with the Gen AI. Okay, so what is Gen AI is going to do in the banking sector? Okay, and like for example, let's say today, it and also like for example, if you want to give loan, automatically we know that okay, which customer it looks at the customer credit scoring automatically, provide you whether how much loan to be given. Okay, so these are the things that 10 years back we are not be able to do that, but now it's we are able to do it in fraction of again. Okay, and what is the trend in technology that is going to come in actually come up with the digital transformation in the era? Okay, so what is that? I'm also looking for, like for example, we have a AI enabled chatbot, AI enabled calls coming up. Okay, so I'm also exploring that what is a new thing that can be coming out in the banking sector. Okay, so we are also working on something which will be coming closely. So I'll be disclosing later.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I think we had a very great discussion, Abilash, and thank you participants also for joining in into the innovation community, asking, being very active and asking some very beautiful questions. And apologies, I could not pick up everything because of time constraints, but
You can
definitely
send
there
the
are
questions to
questions
me so
that
that let me have a look into the questions and
sure,
I
sure.
can
So I'll
respond to
share
you.
with you, Abhilash, some of these questions and we can respond on the innovation community and we will address them. Again, thank you so much, Abhilash, for sharing
Thank you so
your
much.
thoughts, your experiences, guidance in terms of what's really working in the banking sector for transforming the importance of people aspect. How do you combine technology with strategy and different approaches for us to drive change in a way?
Right.
And I think each one of us has a role to play in driving change in every area that we really operate in. It could be banking. Abhilash is in banking sector. There are others who also in banking and financial sectors. But I think we need to be part of the system and change the system. So that's the whole
Right.
beauty about it. And I think the other fear is in the change, your job also may be in danger. So that's not a problem. But then if
Yeah.
you're rightly skilled, then you always zoom up. There's always this kind of a wave for you to ride. So there's nothing to worry about, I think, for the audiences as they build their journeys in innovation and transformation in their respective areas. Again, thank you so much, Abilash, for
Thank
joining
you,
us
David.
and the
Thank you
innovation
so much.
community. Pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.